All right, dear ladies and gentlemen, a very big welcome to the 9th Grow Learn Connect webinar. It's a very gorgeous, very pleasant, sunny morning here in Washington, D.C., and I hope that today's webinar will be just as bright and illuminating. But first of all, and you already know that, I need to start with a couple of reminders. So as you already know, this session is being recorded, and the recording will be shared with participants next week. When sending messages in chat, please make sure to send them to everyone. And also, we would be very, very grateful if you could please fill in a short survey at the end of the webinar. So here's the link, and I will also share that link in chat a little bit later. Now, I have some exciting news to share with you today. Having said that, let me navigate to the platform. One second. I hope you can see my screen now. So we have made a couple of enhancements to the platform to make your experience with GLC more user-friendly, more educational, and also to give you more opportunities to promote your expertise and to promote the services that you provide. So first of all, when you find yourself on the homepage, please take a moment to look through the announcements that are now available through the carousel. So this is how it works. I'm just showing you on my screen. So we'll be updating these announcements very regularly. Next, we launched the section resources that currently houses the blog and the calendar. So if you will scroll down on the homepage, a little bit just above the partners, you will see that here's the blog and the events, but that information is also accessible through the menu, and probably this is the easiest way to go. So the blog includes short articles that are related to training profession, and it's open to anyone to contribute and to benefit. So if you have some great thoughts to share, and also you would like to initiate the discussion, and importantly, if you're a great writer, then you're more than welcome to contribute. Each post, let me show me, maybe I'll open one of the blogs. So each post links to the author's individual page in the directory or on any other websites. So I think this is a great tool for you to boost your portfolio as training experts. And if you would like to contribute, please note that publications must be of interest to the GLC training community. They can be written in essentially any language, in English, Spanish, Arabic, Russian, you name it. However, they must be professional in appearance and free of any grammar, stylistic, or typing errors. So if you need to work with an editor, please do. Also, these publications are considered a public good, so GLC doesn't pay for them. On the other hand, if you don't think that you're a great writer, we still encourage you to read the blog and participate in discussions. There is a way to leave your comments. I need to log in to leave comments. I'm not logged in right now. So you need to log in to be able to comment on any of the blog posts. Okay. So currently we have a couple of posts in that section, and one of those is titled "What Do Skirts and Training Have in Common?" I hope you're all intrigued now, and if you are, then please check out the blog after the webinar. Now, the calendar is also open to anyone. I mean, it's called events on the GLC platform, but essentially it's a calendar. So it's also open to anyone to contribute and to benefit. And I would like to invite you to use that opportunity to market any training events that you may be organizing, whether these are in person or online. And it doesn't matter what you do, as long as it is related to the training professional. So you can promote here your training sessions, your webinars, roundtable discussions, networking events, information sessions, conferences, Ask the Expert, you name it. So currently we have one event here, and that is today's webinar. So we literally just launched that section. So I hope that next time we will have many more events that we can all look up and attend, hopefully, and learn something new. So just navigate to the topic of our, to the page of our today's webinar, which is tailor-made training for MSMEs. And with that, I would like to introduce our speaker today, Esther Macharya. So Esther has over 20 years of experience as a microfinance consultant, business coach, and trainer, and she specializes in serving micro, small, and medium enterprises. Esther is an IFC LPI TPME trainer and assessor, and she is also an IFC certified master trainer. Besides, she is an ILO certified trainer in the Start and Improve Your Business program, and she has trained both aspiring and seasoned entrepreneurs on how to generate business ideas and to prepare business plans. Esther holds a bachelor's degree in marketing from the University of Nairobi, and she also has an MBA in finance from Msme University, Kenya. Esther, over to you.
Thank you, Anna. That's a very great introduction. I was actually trying to see if it's actually me, and I really appreciate. So good evening, good morning, everyone, and good afternoon. It's great to have you here for this training today. We shall go through the housekeeping rules as much as possible. What we do is that this session will be recorded and it's going to be shared with you in the course of the next week. Also, if you have a question, please type it in on the chat and say it to everyone. Also, provide feedback and propose new topics. And you can do this on the link that is there below, that is surveymonkey.com/GLC webinar series 9. So you can give feedback, you can give also your proposed topics for the future. So with that, I'll move on to the training for the day. And I would like to start sharing my screen from now. So today's training, we are going to be looking at a very important topic. In the world today, and according to the way things have turned around, especially with the COVID-19, entrepreneurship has turned out to be a very important area of our economy. And probably before we start, it's always good to get to know who is talking to you. So I'm going to put on my video for a short while. Then after that, we can go on. So this is Esther Macharia, and I'm the one who is going to be presenting this topic on tailor-made trainings for MSMEs. And it is going to be able to help you to understand MSME and exactly what they are looking for in training. I'll switch off the video now so that we can go on and concentrate on the training. So thank you. So to begin with, we are going to have a poll. And I'd like to ask, for all of us who are here, which group of, I'll open the poll and I'll give you 2 minutes to go through it. And the question that we are looking at is, which group of participants have you trained in the past? So take a minute or two and fill in your answer. Okay, we close the poll, and yeah, I'd just like to look at our results. I can see quite a number of you. In the past, most of you have trained that is corporate staff. Quite a number have trained entrepreneurs, and of course, a certain percentage have also trained the farmers. That is on the list. But I can say that is very good. It gives a clear picture that now, wherever we are at, I get a feel that I'm actually talking to professionals in training. And this is a discussion that we are going to have together. So this is not my training alone, but we are going to go through it together. Okay, so you have already gone through my profile. Anna has been able to introduce me very well. The objective of this training is that by the end of the training, the participants will be able to adapt training content according to the needs of MSMEs. Then also will be able to design customized training interventions for MSMEs and deliver high impact training programs for MSMEs. That is what we are seeking with this training. And now looking at the objective, I would like you to put on chat, what are your expectations from this training? What are you expecting from the training? Take 2 minutes, we write, what are we expecting from the training, looking at the objectives that we have. Okay, so I can see quite a number of you putting on the expectations on chat, and I would request Anna to probably help us in going through the expectations that are there on chat. Anna, please.
Yes, so some people are looking to get the new experience. They would like to understand the gap in competence and skills of SMEs, to learn how to impact MSMEs during training. I'm also skimming through the chat. Some participants are mentioning delivery style, customizing techniques. So in general, I guess if I may generalize it, most people would like to know how they can create impact on SMEs while delivering training. I hope this is a more or less accurate summary.
Oh, thank you. I can see that we are all on the same line. We want to look at how we can be able to customize our materials, how we are able to deliver high impact training for MSMEs. And I have also seen somebody say that they're looking at tailor-made materials. So we'll see what we can do to ensure that at the end of the day, you're able to reach the MSMEs and give them tailor-made materials. So first of all, let us, before we go into all that, we would like to look at what are the benefits for you as the trainer, as you're seated here. This is what you'll be able to gain from this training. You'll be able to deliver effective and high impact training sessions to MSMEs after we do this training. You'll also be able to attract a healthy pipeline of customers from the MSME sector, because this is a very important sector that cannot be left out. Looking at most of the jobs that are coming on board right now are created by the micro, small, and medium enterprises sector in any country. And in the roadmap for today, these are the questions that we are looking forward to answering. What are the benefits of training MSMEs? That is to the trainer and to the MSME itself. Then what are the challenges that MSMEs face as they try to access training materials? What are these? Do they face any challenges? And if they do, which ones are they? Then how can I customize training interventions to suit MSMEs? They come in different sizes and in different angles from different sectors. How can I be able to ensure that the materials I deliver to them is relevant to them, and also the way I deliver in the right way? And to get onto this, we will ask ourselves, why should trainers focus on training MSMEs? Why should trainers focus? Looking at a sector which actually may not pay you as much as that big corporate organization. Looking at the sector that you'll be introducing training for the very first time, why should we as trainers focus on this? And I'll go through a number of reasons why we should do that. One of the things that we realize is that MSME as training customers, to begin with, they're a rich source of business information. Remember, you are a trainer, you are also building a business. When you get to training MSMEs, you also become a learner in the process. You get a very rich source of business information. You get to know what is happening in your economy wherever you are. Then there is very high potential of lifelong source of income. These are businesses that are at the point where if it is micro, it is at the starting point of growing. When you're looking at MSME, the SME, that is small and medium enterprise, they are growing from one phase to another. They go all the way from micro, small, medium enterprises, and these are the same customers that will grow to corporate. So the moment you are able to nurture them through training at a very low level, then you are sure that you're going to grow with them and you continue getting a source of income that is there with you throughout your life. Then growing your business in line with MSME business needs. one of the things that happens as you're training MSME, it opens you up to the needs of this MSME. And every time your content, your portfolio in terms of training continue expanding on a daily basis. I'll give you an example. Assume you start off with a micro business that the very basic thing that they're looking at is just how to fill their business records. So all that they're looking for is that, how can I fill my cash book? How can I be able to just keep basic business records? Within no time, this business will grow to the area where they now need to get to looking at charts of accounts. If as a trainer, and you're along the finance line, you had not opened yourself to that level, you open yourself to the level, how can I be able to get the charts of account for this business? And eventually where you'll be going to is now the financial statements of this particular business. You start growing to how do I prepare financial statement, or how do I get this business to prepare their financial statement? Within no time, you'll be talking of financial analysis. Financial analysis, and this is because the business needs are growing on a daily basis. And eventually what you'll be talking about, how do we get even venture capital into this business? And if not venture capital, how do we get capital to expand the business? We'll be talking about business valuation. What we say, you may come in as a trainer who is at a very basic level, but within no time, your business will grow according to the needs of an MSME. And this is not, you may not experience this if you're only dealing with a corporate. I've only examined the area of finance. Marketing will be the same to you. Your marketing line will grow the same way. If you are a trainer in operations, it will grow the same way. And also when it comes to strategy, the strategy for a small business and the strategy that is for the medium enterprise is very difficult heading on to corporate. So you are gradually growing as the business grows. Then you get a chance to be introduced to other customers. MSME talk to each other. They get you into forums where other MSMEs are in, and you get introduced to other customers. So you really need to be so good in servicing this particular industry so they can open you up to a whole network of customers. They are dynamic. You have a dynamic and evolving audience. You will never get a day when you'll be bored when you're serving the MSMEs. Every day is a new day. Every day has its own challenges, and challenges come with the thrill for you as the trainer to develop more material to serve this particular customer. So this, I believe, and many others that are along the way are reasons why, as a trainer, you should be excited to get into the space of training MSMEs. And now to add on to that, for us, we have seen what the benefits are for us as trainers to train MSMEs. Now let's get to chat. What are the benefits of training MSMEs? Why should we train the MSMEs? What are the benefits to the MSMEs? This is what we are looking at. I welcome you to use your chat and let's look at the benefits. Why we need to train this particular group of customers. To them, what are their benefits?
So I see some of these include expansion of knowledge. David says at the end of this training, I expect, I guess, to know how to customize training to a particular MSME group. The answer to the question, Esther, is MSMEs are the future of business. They contribute immensely to employment generation in countries. We need to help them grow their business, create awareness, build sustainable businesses, provide more opportunities, contribute to employment, equip MSMEs with skills needed to run their business better and excel in their business, structure their business better, expand, help them expand. Of course, MSMEs help the economy of any nation grow?
Okay, I see quite a number. Thank you, Anna. I can see to gain more skills and grow their businesses. And I can see you all have a very good, clear picture on the benefits of training MSMEs. And the growth becomes very, very important to us. So I'll just highlight probably a few of these. So when we train MSMEs, we improve efficiency in running their businesses. We are looking at improved efficiency of running the businesses, increased job creation. Would like to have a world where as many people as possible are able to have a source of income, and that is what MSME give to us. Then formalizing the informal sector, the informal businesses. We see most of the businesses are running in a very informal way, and as a result, their source of expansion, their route to expansion becomes very narrow. But when we train them, then we'll be able to get them to formalize their businesses. They reduce their risk in the process, and of course, then they have a chance to expand to higher level. Increase in profitability and productivity of the businesses. The more we train, the more profits increase in this business, because we look at various ways in which the business can be able to be efficient and at the same time increase the productivity per staff and also the productivity per customer who comes to them. Then creation of sustainable business. We are looking at not getting businesses that by tomorrow they're out of the picture, or when the promoter of the business is gone or is no more, then the business goes down. What we are looking at is, can we get sustainable businesses in our economies that are able to employ up to the future? Then increased access to finance for expansion. Most of the businesses, once they get into training, then they start expanding their way of thinking and they know how to relate with financial institutions. And what I have realized is that anytime you give credit without accompanying it with training, then most of the time those businesses do not grow. Instead, they remain in one position, going round the circle, and yet not looking for a way to expand. But when you come in, you increase their way of even getting higher financing and also getting better ideas which they can finance. Improving livelihoods. At the end of the day, what we look at is, can we reduce poverty in the businesses? And reducing poverty, of course, comes with job creation. Then beyond that, improving livelihoods. We don't want the entrepreneur, at the end of the day, that they are not even able to delegate. The moment you improve their livelihood, that they can let go and also get time to relax, then they will also get time to be more innovative in their thinking and bring more businesses on board. So the reason why the MSMEs need to be trained is also that the livelihoods are increased and they are improved, and this comes hand in hand with ensuring that we reduce poverty. Okay, we'll go ahead and ask ourselves, what are the challenges that face MSMEs when accessing training? You know, sometimes as trainers, we may think that training is so available and no one should have an issue in accessing it. But for the MSMEs, they really face a number of challenges. One of the challenges they face at this level are high costs. Training is not cheap, and it comes with a lot of high costs. And sometimes it is so difficult for the MSME. Every day, any money that comes in is plowed back to the business. So getting extra money to do the training sometimes becomes very constrained. It is very constraining to the business. So how can we even look at it? As we look at the challenges, we'll also be looking, how can we be able to do this? One of the things is that get on board and help the MSMEs to actually realize the investment that comes with training. On the other hand, there is partnering with other organizations that are ready to offer technical support to MSMEs and they take care of those particular costs. Then there is always the issue of time constraint. The MSMEs, the people who are running the MSMEs, that is the entrepreneurs, every time of their day is occupied in running the business. So the time to get out to come for a training becomes very constrained. And it is good for us to get to the level where we customize our training to take care of the time constraints of the MSME. Then accessibility due to locations. Our MSMEs are spread all over our countries, in the rural areas and in the urban areas. But we realize most of the trainings are offered in the urban areas, and it may be difficult for our MSMEs to access. And even if for those who are in the urban areas, some of them are in areas where they are not able to get to the area of the training. So the thing is, which locations do we even choose to train our MSMEs? Make it suitable for them. Lack of suitable trainers. Yes, we are all trainers, and at one point we feel that we can all train MSMEs. But MSMEs, as they come to you, they are looking for something special in that trainer. You should be able to communicate at their level and give them relevant information. So for you as the trainer, educate yourself in the language of the MSME in the locality that you are in, so that you may be that suitable trainer for the MSME. Then standardized training materials. Picking off the shelf training and delivering without really looking at which group of customers you are delivering to. One thing is that when it comes to business training or training the businesses, the basics are the same. The basics are technically the same, but the situations are not the same. So you cannot deliver a training that you delivered to a medium enterprise, and it is the same way that you deliver to a small enterprise or you deliver it to the micro enterprise. The trainings that you give to the corporates, the language, and I'm not talking so much in terms of English, French, Portuguese, no. The kind of language that you use to explain to them. In this case, we are talking a language at the level of that particular business. So we need to look at it such that even the training materials, we are able to customize. You don't start talking about financial analysis to a micro business just the same way you'd talk to a corporate business. Then standardized training interventions. This counts a lot in terms of what am I using to deliver the training to the MSMEs. Then on top of that, what am I looking at in terms of the kind of even area I take them for training. So these are some of the time even taken to train. Like I have seen one of you commented, there is no issue of one suit fits them all. You have to get a suit for each and every customer. And to look at this, I would like to first of all ask, how can I customize trainings to suit MSMEs? And since we are all trainers here and most of us have trained MSMEs, how do you customize your trainings? What do you do to make them suitable for MSMEs? Please get on chat.
Some of the answers include conduct needs assessment, needs analysis, correct? Yeah, I guess it's the same thing. Have a conversation. So yes, having a conversation is just a one way to find out about their needs. But most people actually respond TNA or training needs assessment.
Okay, thank you. So I can see most of you, the key thing is that let us get to understand the needs of the business. Let us conduct a TNA, training needs assessment. And there is no better place to start than there. So when you're looking at customizing training for MSMEs, conduct a training needs assessment analysis. And this is done for any training that you get into. But it is necessary you get into it for MSME for you to be able to understand their pain points. then adapt the content to the needs. You have done the training needs assessment, it should not end there. Adapt the content to the needs. Then design the training methodology according to the audience. And we'll look at this in deeper details. So when you're looking at the TNA for MSMEs, training needs assessment for MSME, one key thing as you get into training needs assessment, talk to the entrepreneur to establish the needs. And this is not just a questionnaire. The best way when you're talking to an entrepreneur, get to know the history of the business. Where is this business coming from? Why did the entrepreneur get even into the thought of starting this business? It is very important for you to understand the psychology of the business from the entrepreneur's point of need, because that will determine a lot the way you customize the solution for this business. You get to know the emotional connection that is there between the entrepreneur and their business. Then also, you can benchmark to establish the gaps. You understand the kind of industry that the entrepreneur is in. Which other companies are in that same industry and are doing so well as compared to this story that you have received from the entrepreneur? You'll be able to establish the gaps that can be able to help the entrepreneur. Remember, entrepreneurship is a very lonely journey. And most of the time, the entrepreneur does not have anyone else to consult. But if you come in and you're able to see the kind of gaps that are there compared to the best in the market, and do not only consider only in your economy, you should be very well versed in terms of what is going on in the world. Then you'll be able to establish the gaps that you can come in as a trainer to help in bridging through training. Observe the current market trends. Do not be stuck in the past. As a trainer, and when you're doing training needs assessment, it's very important for you to be current at all times. As the other part of the population is missing out on business news and on political news on exactly what is going on in the market, you are not, as an MSME trainer, you cannot afford to miss out. The market trends are very important. Do your research before you go for that training. Then during the TNA, create a platform for establishing trust. The kind of information that the entrepreneur gives you, remember, it is deep, it's emotional, it is not just financial. Be the trusted partner as a trainer. Whatever you are told remains between you and the entrepreneur. It should not be a session to go and use it elsewhere. Then at the same time, they should see your true interest in their business. So as you do the TNA, it is not just to tick the box or to go through the questionnaire. Key thing, establish a platform for trust. It is going to be very important to you as you connect with those entrepreneurs. So, which information are we looking at when you're doing the TNA? Get the type of business. Type of business helps you to really customize the materials. Businesses are different. There's some, the services industry, they're in the products industry. Then in the service industry, they are also quite diverse. There are those which will be in the financial and banking. There are others that are going to be in tourism. There are others who are going to be in the hospitality industry. Get to know the type of business. Then the other thing is business experience. How many years has this business been in existence? What is the business experience for the entrepreneurs who are coming to be trained? The income level. Income level is going to help you a lot when you are communicating in terms of the examples that you're going to give. And then at the same time, even when you are trying to come up with the venue that you're going to put the customers in. Income level matters. Let me tell you, for MSME, if you're bringing them together to a venue, they like being in a venue that is commensurate to their income levels. Past interactions with financials, very important. Businesses cannot exist without financials. So what are the past interactions? Because past interaction is going to really determine, in terms of communication, if you're in the finance class, how will you communicate? Even when you're in the operations class, how are you going to communicate in terms of, have they interacted with banks in the past? It's good for you to know. Business location, where is the business located? Is it downtown? Is it the upper side of the town? Is it on the west side of the town? The location also helps you to really define the kind of examples that you're going to be giving, because and if your businesses are spread out, then you know how to evenly distribute that. Whether you are training for that country or you are a resident of that country, or you are from another country and you're going to train in another country, get to know the landscape of the business locations and the characteristics of businesses in those locations. The level of education of the entrepreneur, so that your language can actually match the level of education of the entrepreneurs who are going to be in the room of that particular MSME. You don't give examples either that are too high up or too low down. You, as the trainer, it is your duty to adapt. Adapt according to the level of education of your customers. Okay. So then what are the takeouts from TNA? The moment you do the TNA, you'll be able to adapt your training in these areas. One, the content. That is the materials that you're going to use. Timing. Remember when we talked about the time constraint, it is going to actually give you a sense, how much time do I spend training these entrepreneurs? Are they entrepreneurs who can sit down a whole day? Or do we have entrepreneurs where it is 2 hours training today, and then we can continue with another 2 hours the next week? Then the pace. Level of education is going to help you in pacing out your training, and also the number of years in business. Location, where do I take my customers for this training? Can I do it online? If the level of education is low, then you get to a point where you decide, I cannot probably have the online training. I'll better reduce the class in that particular case and have a face-to-face training. So it is going to help a lot. And then if it is most of these customers are medium enterprises, what kind of location will I take them? What kind of hotel will I be taking them? Will I take them to train them in a 5-star, in a 3-star, or even just a basic location is okay, but ensure always your customers are comfortable. Then the duration. Is this a training that is going to cover a long haul? That is, it is not just a training for one day, but a training that will cover a number of months or a number of weeks. So it is not only the timing in terms of the hours you spend, but also how long is this relationship going to be there? You can decide this year we train on this issue, adopt it in your business. Then the next year we'll come in and train. And I'll give you an example. I got a customer who, when it came to the time for training and after TNA, and the TNA took some time because it was a business mentorship. What happened is that first we had to train the top managers, then get to train the middle level managers before we could get to train the staff. But in all this training, it had to take place over a period of time where first half of the year, we train this level and the implementation is done. Second part of the year, we train the middle level managers, implementation is done. So that now the following year, at the beginning of the year, You are just training the staff to go and implement what has been taking place over a number of years. And this also gives you the concept of you can grow with the MSME. So when it comes to the adaptation of the content, adapt the language to suit the entrepreneurs, specific business sectors. If you're training marketing, look at the business sector, give relevant examples and case studies. Specific types of businesses. Are you training retailers? Are you training wholesalers? Or are you training manufacturers? Level and stage of business. Are you training businesses that are at the early stage? That is, these are the businesses at the inception stage. Are you training businesses that are on the growth path? They're on acceleration stage. Or are you training mature businesses or businesses that are actually on the decline? The information will be different for different levels, stages of business. So the thing is, as a trainer of entrepreneurs, you should know the business cycle and the characteristics of each of the businesses cycle, of the businesses in a certain cycle. Then purpose of the training. Why are you training? Are you training for financing? Are you training for growth? Are you training for maintenance? Why are you training? Are you training to improve efficiency or are you training to improve productivity? Remember, the same material can be used, but the way you communicate is different. The way you adapt the content is very different. Kevin, focus on value addition. Remember the customer. The MSME is the key. Focus on value addition, not on what you'd like to deliver, adding value to the customer. When you are adapting the content, you can customize by adding handouts, relevant handouts. You can bring in an additional expert resource person. If you would like to train on branding, like in one particular case where the organization wanted to train on branding. So what happened is that they brought in a branding expert, not to train on what is branding and the elements of branding. No, it was actually showing the customers on how to brand their companies. It was a practical class. Then use local cases. Localize your training. Do not give examples, mostly, that are out there in the world and they are not. If you're in Yemen, train according to Yemen. Use the case studies for Yemen. If you're in Kenya, use the case studies for Kenya. If you're in Africa, in Uganda, use the case studies for Uganda. The same way, if you're in America, you do the same. If you're in Europe, you do the same. Customize your case studies. They should be local as much as possible. And if the businesses are looking towards going international, then bring in international examples. So how do we design training interventions? For MSMEs, and like most trainings that we do, and what we strive to do in GLC, the methodology should be participatory and action-oriented. Then also ensure that this is customer-centered methodology, ongoing training process. It is not a one-off process. Remember, the building of trust, establishing trust will make you have an established training relationship. Then on-the-job training, the customers do not have time. Can you get into their businesses and be that you can train on the job for those areas that needs to be trained on the job? If you're doing issues to do with costing, can you get in and actually do the costing in the business? If you're training areas to do with the marketing, can you get in and actually be part of the workplace training and on the job training and also workplace coaching? You are the one who can travel to the business to do the coaching there. They don't have to come to you. You can go there and you are able to actually, the customer gets to see if my trainer can actually come to where I am, then definitely I'm very important to them. And so workplace coaching, be flexible about that. That means you'll be going one-on-one with the customer. Then the most preferred training methods for MSME that have been seen to bear fruit: facilitated business mentoring. This is where you come in and you explore the answers with the customer. You do business mentorship. You go all the way where you are establishing what are the goals of this company? What reality are they in? Exactly what is the reality on the ground? What are the opportunities that are outside there? Okay. And then you can actually get what are they willing to do? I've just explained the grow model just there. In terms of mentoring, you take the customer piece by piece and you decide which areas you're going to work on with them. Then business simulation games. Get into games with the customers where they're able to see the real business aspect, but in a classroom training. So when you come to train them, do not prepare very huge lecturing, but get into the area where you can play games, real games that are outside there in the market, simulate them. Business networking. As a trainer, you can facilitate business networking. You don't have to have a classroom training. Be the facilitator of these networking areas. Allow for the customers to talk to each other. They learn better when they talk to each other. Collaborative learning. This is where we are looking at, can you come in and you look into my business? That is the business for not you as the trainer, where they are able to learn from each other. They get to learn from each other, either they're in different industries or the same industry, where they can be able to get in and work together to ensure the growth of their business. And for you as the trainer, you are the one who is facilitating this. This way the businesses learn better and you can be sure they keep coming back to you. So in terms of the training delivery, focus on real or current issues in business. Do not be vague. Do not be theoretical. The examples are already outside there. When you are delivering the training, ensure you are real and you are current. Don't go back so much. The old books will give you the basics. But anytime when you're picking the examples, don't pick the old examples. Come and pick the examples of today. Real or current issues in business. When you're talking to a financial institution, if that is what you're training probably a small microfinance business. Then when it comes to real issues, you'll be going more towards the digital lending and not so much what was there before. When you're looking at marketing, you'll be talking about the digital platforms for marketing, unlike the old methods of marketing. When you're looking at the issue of even staff, and even COVID-19 has taught us a lot, showing us that even it is possible for us to have flexible working spaces. There are people who can work at home instead of probably the customer looking at getting a very big space. What are the real issues? Are you bringing them on board into this business? As a trainer, do not be stuck to the past. Individualize training information. When you're in the class and you're training, as much as possible, keep referring to the businesses that are represented in that forum. So when you're doing the introduction at the beginning of the class, get the businesses to introduce themselves plus their businesses so that you're able to understand. And then the beauty of it, you have already done a TNA, so you know quite a bit about these businesses. Individualize the training, point out the businesses and talk to the individuals within that particular class. Provide opportunities to share skills, knowledge, and experience. Allow for the customers to talk to each other. They are here together. They are carrying a wealth of knowledge. Give them as much group work as possible. Give them areas where they can present to each other exactly what is going on in their businesses. They are not people who like talking about what they do, like entrepreneurs. It is always a platform for them to market. Link training to business performance. The reason why the entrepreneurs have come for the training, it's because they want to improve the performance of their business. So your training at all times should be linked to the performance. The moment you lose that particular link, then you get lost. And the entrepreneurs may get out thinking that there is nothing they can apply to improve their businesses. Then link training to specific stages of business cycles. Startups, talk to startups as startups. A business at the acceleration stage or the growth stage, that is a business that requires a lot of money to grow. That is a business that is requiring to marketing quite a lot. This is a business that the funds are coming in, and at one point they are being plowed into the business, and you need to come and talk to them now about efficiency, so that by the time they get to the maturity stage, then you're talking something different. You'll probably be talking at maturity stages. What is the next level? Are we introducing a new product into the business? Are we investing the money towards ensuring sustainability of the business? Should we be talking about the issue of handover at that particular level, that is when it comes to the maturity stage? And then when the business is at the decline stage, what do we do to ensure that the business comes up again? How do we rejuvenate this business to become new? So always link training to specific stages of business cycle. If it is possible for you, once you get a number of businesses, you can actually categorize. I'll train businesses that are between 1 to 5 years. And I'll train businesses that are between probably 5 to 10 years. It helps. But if you meet yourself in a class that is mixed up, then when you're giving examples, make them very specific, linking to the different stages so that no customer will get lost as you are training. You should always be aware of the businesses that are sitting in the class. Remember, every entrepreneur represents a business, and no business, every business is important in that particular class, and especially to you as the trainer, because that is your employer, not only for that class, but for the future. In training delivery, also remember, provide ongoing specific, business-specific support. What support do they need? Ask this question always: how can I help? As you're going along, ask, how can I help? So that you're able to offer specific business support. Is it market linkages at that particular point? Do you need to establish an accounting system in your business? Do you need a tax consultant in your business? Make it specific. Lower the cost of training by partnering with other businesses. You can actually invite the businesses that are coming on board to come and display their wares during the business, and in the process, they can pay a small fee that will go towards ensuring that the ones who are, as others come to participate, they will not pay the full cost, because there is a cost that is paid by those who come to display their goods. Also, partner with organizations that are interested in furthering the knowledge, the financial or the non-financial services, that is in terms of training of the businesses that are there. Organizations that are interested in growing MSMEs. And I can give an example like IFC. IFC is very interested in growing MSME. So if you can get together with them and you're able to deliver an impactful training for MSMEs, then you're on board to a good start. Then minimize time spent away from the business. And in this case, what we are talking about is be flexible in terms of time. You may not get businesses that probably will be away from their business for a whole 8 hours. Look at the times according to the location when the businesses are busy. You may realize if it is retail shops, they are very busy in the morning and towards the evening, so that you can actually put your training probably around 10 a.m. to midday. Then there are those businesses that should be open by 10. You can actually have a very early training depending on the entrepreneurs you are bringing on board. If it is most of the entrepreneurs are actually ladies, then you need to look at when you train them. Do not call them on board probably when they're supposed to be preparing children to go to school, or when they're supposed to be back home, ensuring that their children are settled in from school. Don't choose facilitators who are trusted and respected by the business participants. When you're looking for facilitators or experts in certain areas, look around for those who can be trusted, whose story is credible. Their word will be credible to the businesses. So as much as possible, invite people who can actually communicate to the participants not only emotional needs, but also the expert need that need to be communicated. So I want us to look at the MSMEs that we have in our businesses. And here, always remember, you are not alone. You are not alone in that class. Your class is full of experts. They are going to be your main resource persons. You are going to share experiences that can grow each other. Yours is to guide on the topic for the day. You guide on the topic for the day, you control on the time, but you have your main resource person. You get out there learning even more than you thought you would. So yours is to fill in the gaps for the main resource persons who are your MSMEs who are in the business, who are in that class. Then remember, the MSMEs are experts in their businesses. Respect their opinions. They are experts in their businesses. They know how it should run. Do not argue. And then on top of that, do not belittle their ideas just because probably for you as the trainer, you have more knowledge in that area. What you need to realize is, for you, you may be having the knowledge in terms of the book, but for that particular entrepreneur, once it comes to the issue of running a hotel, they are better than you. They are better than you in that area. So respect their opinions. Remember, you have experts in the room. Then time conscious. Entrepreneurs come to you because they have a pain point. So address the pain point and do not waste the time. They should not get out of that class feeling that their time has been wasted. They do not understand what you are talking about. So as much as possible, ensure that you deliver. Their time is worth something when they are there. Remember what we said, focus on value addition. Then watch for concrete results. At the end of the day, have action points. What are they going to work on as they go out? Ask them, from this training, what are you really going to work on? What are the concrete results? Remember what I said, as you train, link the training to performance. What are the concrete results of your training? It is not just like a staff training, where you tell the staff there is a training today, the training is conducted, and at the end of the day, whatever the staff go to do, you know, when it comes to the corporate world where you're just training the staff, that can happen. But when you're training entrepreneurs, then there should be concrete results from your training. They're already motivated to learn. Remember, they came for the training. They are looking for something. They may not be totally clear on exactly what they are looking for, but they are motivated to learn, and that is why they are sitting in your class. So make it worthwhile. And they are very responsive to feedback. So they are going to be looking, they know their strengths, they know their weaknesses, and they respect feedback. And they'll be asking you questions, not for everybody in the class, but that which is so specific to their business. Address it. Because whatever you give them as the response, then it is actually going to make them probably adjust the way they have been doing their business. So they are very responsive to feedback. And be respectful, of course, like we have always said in our trainings. Somebody says they can't hear my voice. Please confirm if you can hear me.
I can hear you well. I hope everyone else also does.
So we request Saima, you can probably check on your side. So thank you for that confirmation. Okay, then for you as the trainer, be interactive, relax. Talk to your customers, talk to these entrepreneurs, be as interactive as possible. And being interactive, it's not just an issue of probably cracking jokes here and there. No, it's an issue of talking the language of business. Keep time. This we do in all trainings. For entrepreneurs, it's even key, whether they're going to be late or not. But for you as the trainer, keep time because it's a sign of respect, not only for them as people, but also for their businesses. Because for them, they say time is money. Be as relaxed as possible. It does not matter whether for you, your business organization, that is your training organization, is so small, or you're an individual trainer who has not yet formalized your business. The thing is, be relaxed. They have come to you because you are an expert in that area. So feel the confidence of knowing that you have something to offer to them. Be relaxed, take time to just know that whether you are dealing with a business whose turnover is 100 million, while your business only has a turnover of 1 million, whichever currency it is in your country, the thing is, relax and do not go there in awe of, okay, I'm training this particular person and I cannot just imagine how I'll be addressing them. Remember, you are the expert in the class. It's only that you're going to give it with a lot of respect. Then know your content. If you are training in an area, don't just take any training for MSME and say that you're going to deliver because the training has come up. If you're not good in that topic, get somebody else to deliver it. It's very important for you to know your content because you're going to be asked questions that are beyond what you're delivering. That is one of the things. And the questions cannot be answered in a textbook way. They have to be answered in a realistic way in the current world. If you call me probably to train you on human resource, I might actually back out and give that to somebody else and just come in as a support because I may not be very good at delivering on human resource. If you call me to deliver on finance, then I am very comfortable delivering on finance. So know your content. And if you want to get to be an expert in that area that you are weak in, then work hand in hand with other trainers along the line. Go for the courses. They're available even on GLC. Just come on board and be ready to learn as much as possible and practice, practice, practice. Then as a trainer, give your follow-up. Give your contacts for follow-up. Remember we said this is a long-standing relationship. Don't leave your MSMEs hanging. They will call you to clarify things. They will call you when their businesses grow to a higher level. They are going to call you when they need a trainer. So are you available, and did you give your contact? And so as much as possible, this is what we look at when you're looking at tailor-making trainings for MSMEs. So, and in summary, as we look at what we had started out to do, one, MSMEs will attend trainings if the content addresses business pain points. They will attend. So even if we are talking about cost constraints, they will attend if it addresses their pain point. So ensure you pick up the pain points very well. MSMEs learn better by doing and sharing. That is networking. Create as much time for networking as possible. Help them to talk to each other. Then be in sync with the entrepreneurs in training delivery. Do not get lost. Don't make it abstract. Do not make it a classroom training. Make it real, and let us address the issues in the real environment. And so this is what we have. And looking at this, I believe that now we'll be able to go out and customize our training. Any training you pick up, be it marketing, operations, human resource, to address the issues of MSMEs. And at the end of the day, you can be sure you're going to have a very profitable business in training. And with that, I come to the end of training of this particular presentation, but I open up for questions. I say we have enough time to address the questions. It is, that is where we are. You can put it on chat. Welcome question, comments.
And if you would like to say something, or if you would like to raise your question and speak up, please raise your hand and we'll unmute you. Thank you.
Thank you, Canal Consultants, for that compliment. Thank you, Esther, this is explosive. Then, how do you manage the cost of customization, especially dealing with a wide range of SMEs? The cost of customization, when you are doing the materials, or when you're customizing your materials, and you're dealing with a wide range of MSMEs in one class, the key thing is, first, remember, the material in terms of points may be very standard, but when it comes to your explanations, it can be quite different to suit the various MSMEs that are in class. So the cost of customization will also come on board in terms of the way you do your costing for the MSME. Exactly how are you costing the materials? And this will depend a lot in terms of put a cost that is able to be reached by all the SMEs that are there in the training. Let it reach, and even on top of that, the bigger SMEs, you can approach them to come and display their materials, their wares during the training. They will cover a bit of the cost, but the standard cost for the training remains the same. You can also get a sponsor who will come in and sponsor that particular training. The basic cost that is paid for by the customer remains minimum. One of the things that you realize with even MSMEs, even if they say that the training is expensive, it's not that they're looking for free things. They are willing to pay, but not pay so high. So if you can get a partner to augment that particular cost, then you are in business. I hope I've managed to answer your question. That is GetNet target. I hope I'm able to answer your question. And I thank you all. I can see your compliments. Thank you very much. So,
Esther, I see one of the questions, how to conduct the training needs assessment. So before you respond, I just wanted to once again remind you that on the Grow and Connect platform, we have the guide to training. And if you go there, one of the wedges, one of the phases of the training project lifecycle is addressed to that particular issue, assessing training needs. It has very detailed checklist. So please, start your journey, start learning more about TNA from the Guide to Training. And Esther, over to you. Maybe you would like to add something else to that.
Okay, so thank you very much, Anna. Yes, if you go to the GLC website, you'll be able to get that. And this is something this is so accessible to all of us who are here in this training. You'll be able to get that. But also beyond that, what mostly happens is get a questionnaire, a standardized questionnaire that you can you can use for all the people who are going to attend the training that you're about to conduct. Also, have a session to talk to a few of the entrepreneurs. You may not be able to talk to all of them, but have a session to talk to them, because most of the time is that you're going to get an element of getting to understand the kind of industry. After you have had your questionnaire, choose a few and talk to the entrepreneurs before the actual training so that you can understand. And for a number of us probably who are working for financial institutions, you have got quite a lot of database already with you that you're able to look into and get to know what kind of customers are we dealing with if you're working for financial institutions. So that when you come to that level of training, then you are able to offer a training that addresses the customer's needs. The other way that is there is that, like we said, look at the other industries in the market. Once you get to know the businesses that are coming, so that you are able to do a TNA, a training needs assessment that actually addresses that level of business. It may not be specific to a particular business, but it will address the level of businesses that you are dealing with in your country and at the stage in which they are in. So thank you.
Esther, I'm seeing more questions.
I'd like to...
So one of the questions is how to deal with women MSME owners who are partially illiterate. Do you have any recommendations?
Okay. Yes, I have dealt with quite a number of women entrepreneurs who are partially illiterate. But illiteracy does not mean these customers don't communicate. They do communicate in a language that they understand each other. The thing is, get to understand their language. If you have to use the language that they understand at that level, then when you're dealing with illiterate customers or semi-illiterate customers, one of the things is that as much as possible, it may be good for you to keep away the PowerPoints. Don't come to train with PowerPoints. Then the other thing is that use as much of flip charts as possible and also get illustrative elements with you. Get a number of local materials that can help you to explain the concept that you want to explain about business. Then on top of that, like we said, localize the materials that you're going to use. So if you're training a group of women, and probably this group of women, most of the time, let me just take an example. Their work is selling fish. I'm not saying all the women who sell fish are illiterate, but their work, their businesses is selling fish. Then use the language or use the examples that are to do with businesses concerned with the fish. If you need to come with materials, visual aids to help you to explain your point, then that will be very important for you. But key element, keep the PowerPoints aside. Use more of flip charts. And flip charts, mostly, you may be doing more of diagrams than anything else. Then on top of that, get the containers, get local materials that can help you to explain your concept. Then beyond that, use a language that is understandable to that group of women. use language that is understandable, and you realize in training it may be very difficult for you, for an interpreter, to really get your point. Then in that case, you can also bring in a co-facilitator who is able to to explain, who is competent enough to explain according to that level of customers. That is what I would advise. Do you have more questions?
Esther, we have more questions, so definitely. So Nasiri is asking, is there any resource center from where we can learn about how to customize training content? Nasira, I just posted 2 links in chat. So unfortunately, the courses on customization of content as well as localization are still in development. If you don't mind, please sign up now. And once these courses become available, we will definitely let you know. She's also asking about developing MSME case studies and training videos. Again, as far as training videos are concerned, we do have a couple of self-paced courses on converting face-to-face learning into online. Give me just a moment. I will put the link in chat, so please check that out. I hope that it will be at least partially helpful to you. Next question, Esther, from Mary. If you have different levels of SMEs, for instance, startups, accelerated businesses, and mature businesses in one class, how do you use different content for such training?
Okay, if you have different levels of businesses, what I said is that in terms of the content, the basic concept is usually the same. Remember, if it is finance, a debit will always be a debit, a credit will be a credit. If it is marketing, branding will always be branding. But the thing is, the way you explain it to different levels of business will be very different. So ensure that in terms of adapting your content, what you're going to adapt now is the intervention in terms of how do I explain it? When you're explaining, ensure you give 3 examples. Examples that are going to fit the various businesses. If you have case studies, have 3 different case studies to be worked on by 3 groups or more. Then the groups, you are going to have presentations that are representing, a group will be representing businesses at startup stage, another will be at accelerated stage, and another one will be at mature stage. So the key thing is that differentiate the case studies. You don't have to have one case study. You can have 3 different case studies and different presentation. Remember, the entrepreneurs like having all this talk about. That is why when you have different levels of business, ensure the case studies are very diverse. And that is why it's so good to have a TNA, so that you don't come with a one-size-fits-all. If you realize that this is the kind of class you have, adapt your case studies. The content, the basic content will remain the same. Like I can tell you, the materials that we are offering here, probably when it's going to be trained to training students, I may probably use the same kind of material to some extent with a few twists here and there, but now the examples I'll be giving towards students will be so different. So in that case, your case studies, then the handouts that you're going to give out needs to be different. Probably handouts with startup business, accelerated business, and mature business. So that is going to help you. The group discussion and the group discussions you're going to have, the kind of business games you're going to have in class should actually come in to augment your content, your standard content in the class. But it should all be addressing the businesses. Mary, I hope I've been able to answer your question.
In the meantime, Esther, here's a tricky one from
Yes.
Consult. What exactly can we charge them on, for instance, on mentorship? So I think this is more a question of where can you make money?
What exactly can we charge them on? Okay, the money issue. I know money issue is big for consultants, but the money issue especially depends on your environment, your business environment wherever you are. It also depends on stages of the business, because you can go in and for a startup, you ask them for money, they don't have the money. But also for you as an entrepreneur, in terms of the level of business, you can look at it and decide what to charge. The other things that come on board, especially at the startup stage, if you realize that you cannot do this, of course, for every business, but you can adapt it in a different way as a trainer. You realize that I'm going in and I'm mentoring this business. I have looked at all the fundamentals to do with the business idea, the way it comes in, and the kind of value I can inject into this business. I can actually probably come in, and the kind of offer that I'll be having is, I will come in, yes, I'm not injecting capital, but I am bringing in my expertise to nurture the business. But in the process, there can even be a shareholding to a certain extent with an exit clause for the business. So that can also play a part, such that you are not paid now, you are paid in future. That is for startups, but it also depends on you as a trainer at that level, if it's a business that you believe in. Then the other thing is that if it is a business that probably is at an acceleration stage, and since you will have established a rapport to actually get to know the kind of financing, that the kind of financial situation of the business, you can charge according to that financial situation. But also look at your market, like the way we do with all pricing. When you're setting the pricing as a consultant, or even in terms of mentorship, what is your environment charging for that particular kind of service that you have? You can charge per hour, because mentorship mostly takes hours, and you may find that it is probably 1 or 2 hours per week or per month. Then you can charge per hour, depending also on the local rates that are there. It cannot be a one standard, one price fits them all. You have to do the due diligence. And that is now where it comes in also, in terms of for you to do the market research. What is the pricing in the market for that business?
Esther, I think this question is kind of related to what you were just discussing about mentorship. So the question is, what should be the time period for impactful mentoring process? How many times of sessions recommended?
I have been involved in quite a number of mentorship programs. And for the mentorship program, for the business to get any kind of feedback in terms of to see the results, it's good to have a mentorship session of about 6 months. 6 months meeting about once in a month for 2 hours, so that you're able to give time to the business. During the 2 hours of mentorship, you discuss quite a lot about the business. And then after that, you're able to go on ahead and give the business time to implement what you have discussed. Then when you come back next month, you're able to see what is going on. It cannot be quick fixes. So within 6 months, you should be able to see changes if the business is implementing what you have been discussing in mentorship. If it's go to for a long time, 1 year. 1 year. But after 1 year, then you should be talking of something totally different, but not following up probably the same gaps that you established at the beginning of mentorship. And what you realize in mentorship, the business keeps evolving. There are new things that are coming up in the course of mentorship. So the thing is, you can actually decide, we are going to work on these 3 items within the next 6 months. Then we take a break, probably for some time. Then we can come back and work on others. But also, the MSME may want to retain you for a bit of time until the business is at a level where they can say, we are broken even, or not even breaking even, we are at a good profitability level. The other thing that happens with a number of MSMEs, they even get to invite you now to be a member of their board if you are adding value. Because that way, once they get into a member of their board, just like the way with corporate, then they get to tap into your expertise for a long time. So 6 months minimum, That's what I would say.
Thank you very much, Esther. We have a question from Rajiva. Rajiva is asking, what do you think is the future of micro entrepreneurs who are not digital or online ready in the midst of this pandemic?
Well, in the midst of this pandemic, and looking, I can say environments are very different. A number of our customers or consumers, the customers of the MSME still like the personal touch, and they're still going for it. So they still have a bit of time. But then at the same, and there is also still a lot of mistrust depending on the economy that you are in about the digital area, where you order one thing and then something totally different is delivered. In some of our economies that we have seen that, so that at the end of the day, then I'll better see what I'm actually purchasing. But eventually, it is necessary for all business to go online. Not all of them will be able to get online, but as much as possible, it's necessary for micro entrepreneurs to collaborate at a higher level so that they're able to get digital and to just be online to do their business. But I can tell you this for sure, there is still a very big percentage of customers who still want the personal touch. But even if you look at the personal touch, consumers are also looking for convenience. I want to go digital. I go and check the item that I need or the service that I'm looking for. Then I will not go shopping from one shop to another, but I'll just go direct. Even if I'm looking for that personal touch, I would have done my shopping online. So for survival, it's good that they go online. We still have a bit of a lifetime. Not much, probably within the next 5 years. The environment will be so totally different for any micro entrepreneur.
I just wanted to add that it is in your power, the training professionals, to help all these micro entrepreneurs to go digital, to go online. You can train them on that. You can help them take their business online. So it's in your hands. Help them. All right. So I think we're nearing the end of this webinar. It's 10:30 a.m. in Washington, D.C., and I know it's very late in some parts of the world because we have participants from Yemen and from Pakistan, whatnot. So thank you all for joining us. I really appreciate you finding the time to join us and to learn with us. If you have any questions, my name is Anna Peiko, and I'm always available to answer any questions on how or help you with any needs. Please reach out to us. Please, of course, fill in the questionnaire as we asked you in the beginning of the webinar. We would very much appreciate your input on how we did this time and how we can do better, and what other sessions you would like to learn from in the future. Esther, thank you very much for a very powerful presentation. Thank you for sharing your experience and knowledge. And once again, I just wanted to remind everyone, so lots of the things that Esther was talking about today, perhaps not everything, but a lot of these things, including assessing training needs, customization, facilitating learning for MSMEs, can be found in the guide to training. So if you haven't downloaded this very powerful publication yet, please go ahead and do it and get empowered. Esther, do you want to say anything from your side?
Yes. I would like to thank all of you for attending this training, and I hope that I've been able to actually direct you towards ensuring that we serve our MSMEs better. And I look forward to working with you to a greater extent to ensure that our MSMEs are well trained. And for Cornell, I will just answer your question on chat. Thank you.
All right. Thank you all very much. Enjoy the rest of your evening or the rest of the day, depending on where you are. And thank you very much for your positive feedback. We really value your feedback. So we'll see you next month, 3rd Thursday of June. We'll be in touch.